So I'm here with Anya Philips Thomas, who is the ministry intern at United Parish of Auburndale this year. And Anya is talking to us about a ministry program that she's going to start. And so Anya, it's called the Welcome Table.
Yes.
And so I wondered if you would tell us where this idea comes from, why you're bringing this to us.
So it comes from an idea from Simple Church, which is a church plant out in North Grafton.
A church plant?
Church plant.
What does that mean?
So it is, my understanding is that it is a plant in a church that had, that its membership had gone away. Okay. And now they were able to sort of do some wild experimentation.
Okay, so it's an experimental church.
It is an experimental church.
Okay.
In this space. It's relatively new for a church, and they do a dinner church service, and the whole service is around this meal, mm-hmm. which is served, and they pray and sing, and they're together for this meal, and I believe they do twice a week services now, mm-hmm. with I think plans to add a third service. We are going to start with one service during Lent. And we're going to follow along with this model, although we are going to tweak it a little bit because it is an experiment, and we're going to add in some things that I think might be helpful for building community.
Okay, so why are you doing this? I mean, why are you starting this?
So I am an intern, I'm a student, and I do need to propose a project, yeah. One that's both useful for me and my interests, and I'm interested in building community engagement. I'm intensely interested in decreasing loneliness.
Decreasing loneliness.
Ways of connection for people intergenerationally.
Okay.
I'm very conscious of the things that increase isolation, being older, having young children, just any number of things, an empty nester. It can run the gamut of okay. possibilities, but a lot of people find themselves without connecting points, and or find themselves in community where they're skewing towards one end of the range or another. And
what's that range?
So it could be that you find that everybody you know is 40 and above, okay. and you don't know any children, so you don't have any idea what's happening with young people, and at some point in time you might want to communicate with some.
Okay.
Maybe you have grandchildren or nieces and nephews, and you can be completely out of touch. And also, you don't have any opportunity to access the things that people who are older know and have experienced, and might be able to share some wisdom and some guidance with you, okay, because you don't know them.
Yeah, so I hear that this is intergenerational,
mm-hmm.
but it's also the reason that you want us to experience this here, not just because you're a student and you need to bring something to us, right. but also that you want to make sure that there's an opportunity to break through some of that isolation and to have some community and have some sharing. Mm-hmm. What would that actually look like at this thing?
So, one of the best...
is somebody going to be standing up and preaching, and there's going to be a choir?
So there won't be a choir unless we spontaneously break into we don't know. Okay. It is possible that the Welcome Table will become the finest choir in Auburndale. I don't know.
So there might be singing.
They'll definitely be singing. There's usually someone in every group. If you get 5 or 6 people together, somebody is going to like the music.
Okay.
So we're definitely leaving room for the music. But the truth of the matter is that we are going to design this program together. Mm-hmm. So I am planning a few services in the beginning so that we have sort of a framework and talking points, things that we like or don't like.
Talking points that are biblical,
So I'm actually going to adapt an evening prayer service from it's actually a UCC evening prayer service. It's in the hymnal. It's like page 4 if you want to look it up. And starting...
Pause. So with the Welcome Table, what are some of the things that are going to be happening there? Like what's said there? Is there going to be like a sermon, or will there be a choir?
So no choir, but I expect that there will be some singing. Mm-hmm. We are going to build this program together. Mm-hmm. The goal in the beginning is to have people share life experiences. So we're going to begin with cooking together, setting the space together, building a sacred space together, building a meal, a way of caretaking for each other. All of that preparation is a form of love and attention and ways for us to be able to get together. And, you know, the stories that you can tell when you're talking about recipes or when you're the person who gets to dice all the carrots, it sort of frees you up. You know, your hands are working and your heart and mind is open to what's happening in the space. And
you're a trained chef too. I mean, if you were just going to, you know, share some of your story, I mean, is there a particular meal that you make that has a story? I mean, what would that look like?
So I was just having this conversation with a friend. We were at Blue Ribbon Barbecue up the street, and we got pie. So I'm chanting pie. I'm chanting pie. You know, they're like, let's get pie, and all of a sudden I'm like sort of chanting key lime pie, key lime pie. And then because we were already getting two pieces of key lime pie, I was like, let's throw in a pecan pie for good measure. And then of course we had these pies, these slices of pie, and we were evaluating them. The pecan pie, for me, brought up this memory of my Aunt Joyce. She's my godmother, and my grandmother's sister. And she is our family pecan pie baker. And so I have a recipe of hers, and occasionally I attempt to make this pie, but the truth of the matter is I cannot actually make her pie. Because she uses pecans that are grown on her family farm. They are harvested by the family. They don't taste the same. I cannot go to Whole Foods and say, what are your nicest pecans, and get the same pecans. It doesn't taste the same. And I can't make her pie filling. I don't know if it's how things are packaged, but I can do that recipe backwards and forwards, and it's not the same. And I used to think that it was just because, you know, my aunt made it, and so it was extra special.
That's part of it.
Yeah. And but you know, you want to have these things, and every time I have a pecan pie, I think about the story. And
so I can see how we would have this conversation, and then maybe around the table you begin talking about, you know, that aunt that all of us have, or that uncle, or we begin telling stories from our lives, which we don't get to do on Sunday mornings, and we definitely don't get to do in our neighborhoods, you know, on the porch, because we don't sit on our porch.
That's true.
So this is a way of breaking down some of those things that isolate us, and stories tend to help us to reach out.
And it does, and you know, it's not as simple as that. It becomes what is it like to live far away from your family? What is it like to be a transplant? What is it like to be a refugee? What does family mean? Does it have to be a blood relation? Can it be a community that you build? So there's a lot of ways that you can sort of expand on that topic that becomes appropriate for adults and for children.
Great. So I heard you say that this welcome table is going to start in Lent. When does it start? When will it happen?
So we're actually going to start a little before Lent. So we're starting February the 26th.
Sunday, February 26th. Okay.
So it's 6 p.m.
Okay.
Sunday, February the 26th. And we are going to meet downstairs at the kitchen. And we thought about and looked around the church for lots of potential spaces to begin this program. Part of what is nice about it is that it's on Sunday evenings, so we can get groups of people who are not able to come to Sunday morning service for whatever reason, perhaps that they are available at this time. It welcomes people out who want to have some camaraderie. I forget all the time that there are many people who have most of their meals alone. Most of their meals alone, and would like to have the opportunity to have a meal and a conversation and get to know people around a shared table. And also, it's just a different kind of way of doing church.
Yeah. So it starts at 6. It might end at.
So we're anticipating an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Anya.
Thank you.